I welcome the Greenlanders to America,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I think Greenland is going to be a very great asset to the United States of America.
Agreed. And I got a solution to a huge problem I've been hearing about. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Let's say we annex Greenland. Well, that means we'd have 51 states, right?
Not necessarily.
Now, that's true.
Puerto Rico, Guam.
Yeah, well, let's say we had to make it a state instead of a United States territory. Well, you just put North and South Dakota into one. You know what I'm saying? Problem solved.
North Greenland, South Greenland.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually a good idea if they had to do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then you won't have to change millions of flags.
My question would be for you guys is how serious do you think Donald Trump is about trying to acquire Greenland, which is, I think, twice the size of Texas?
he probably serious.
Yeah.
I feel like he doesn't say things just cause.
I agree with that. And as a matter of fact, just to refresh my memory, I listened to Donald Trump speaking at the Mar-a-Lago conference just to get a fresh take on his point of view, and he really does seem very serious about, pushing for the annexation of Greenland and, gaining control of the Panama Canal, for example. And his reason being is for national security reasons, which I feel is valid,
Greenland, it does seem to be like there hasn't been much going on there. I don't know the
Yeah.
exact population. Here's some facts about Greenland. Greenland's one of the biggest places in the world. Very little of it is known to the outside world. In fact, many people have misconceptions about nobody cares. I want to see the hard facts. Number one, Greenland is the world's largest island.
Yeah.
Let's start with the basics. Greenland is actually the world's biggest island by area. That's not a continent, which means Australia is the
Okay.
biggest island. The total area of Greenland is 2.16 million square kilometers, which is 836,000 square miles. 80% of the land mass is covered in ice cap. So 80% iced out. The ice-free area, it's the minority, but it's still around the size of Sweden.
Yeah.
So what's not covered in ice is the size of Sweden, and there's a population of about slightly less than 60,000 people in Greenland.
Just 60,000?
Yes, and apparently Denmark owns Greenland.
Oh, I actually did not know that, those last 2
Yeah.
points. Wow.
So my questions are very simple. My questions are, is it up to the Greenland people to decide whether they want to be sold to the United States? How should we go about doing this? What if Denmark doesn't want to do it and Greenland doesn't want to do it?
Yeah.
What if Greenland is all on board? How much should we buy Greenland for?
That's a very, all those are great questions.
That's why I just asked all of them.
And I feel like you're on point with every single one of them.
Well, let's start with the first one
Yeah.
that I'm going to ask
Yeah,
here.
it's a lot at once. It's a lot at once.
Who do you think should get to decide whether or not they're a part of the United States, that the United States can buy Greenland? Should it be the Greenlandic people? Or should it be the Dutch people, the Danish,
Yeah.
Denmark who owns it? Is it up to them? Or
Or somewhere in between. I guess that's
what
the
would
question.
you think? What would you think morally? Who is it up to?
Morally, one would think it's up to the Greenlanders. Although, logically speaking, if the Danish people own Greenland, well, unfortunately, they're the ones that get to decide at the end of the day, right?
So then it's morally not up to the Greenlanders.
No.
If the Danes own Greenland, it's
Right.
their property. Therefore,
They'd have to be okay with selling it.
I guess so, yeah. What if it's not a acquisition in the concept of selling and buying, right? Because it's a little different when nations acquire property from other people, right? It's like, hey, I take your country through an act of whatever. Do I have to pay debts to the person that financed it to the last civilization, right?
Bro, you said a couple of things. There were words in there, and then it started to roll, and then
Yeah.
finance. I was like, finance. That's lending money, and then other things. How? So the Danish people, right?
Yeah.
They own Greenland. What if all 60,000 Greenlanders said, "We want to be part of America. Sell to America"? Do you think that would and should pressure the Danes to sell to America?
I think it would add increased pressure to the Danish government to do so, especially if, on one hand, the U.S. government's offering you a hefty check for your land, and on the other hand, they're offering a hard stick, so to say, right? Which one are you going to choose, money or punishment?
Right.
Especially when it comes up to one of the world's most powerful countries.
Greenland is an autonomous country within the Kingdom of Denmark. Although Greenland is geographically a part of the North American continent, it has been politically and culturally associated with Europe for about a millennium. Since 1721, Denmark has held colonies in Greenland, but the country was made part of Denmark in 1953. In 1979, Denmark granted home rule to Greenland, and in 2009, expanded self-rule was inaugurated, transferring yet more decision-making power and more responsibilities to the Greenlandic government.
Ooh.
So, let's talk Turkey here, man.
Oh, gosh.
Bro, I know about money, bro. America can spend some money.
You know it.
So you got Greenland is above Canada. We got Alaska on the other side. We're set up fire. Greenland would be a dope spot for military. I know they got all kinds of minerals and stuff, man. We got to get that Greenland, bro. And there's only 50,000 people there, bro. Come on. How much is 50,000 people worth? It can't be worth too much. So I think we should pay. I just want to see, Jess, what's your wildest answer on what do you think the American government should pay Denmark for Greenland? How much money?
Ooh, I would have no idea how much countries or the islands.
Let me ask you this. In the 1800s, how much did the French sell America Louisiana for? And Louisiana, which was about a third of the country at the time. In the 1800s, how much did America buy Louisiana from the French?
50,000.
Incorrect. You know that number?
Actually, I don't. That's not a number I remember.
You want to guess on that one?
Well, I would have to presume, knowing that the Americans bought land from air quote, land from the Native Americans for about $1.50 an acre. I would have to say maybe 10,000.
Louisiana Purchase,
Yeah.
$15 million.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They paid the French for the Louis. Wow, dude! I used to be able to speak, bro. I was granted powers to speak. Now I can't. For $15 million, the Americans paid the French for Louisiana in an act which is known as the Louisiana Purchase.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, in Greenland, how much do you think? This is 200 years later. How
Right.
much do you think America should pay? Just throw a number out.
$1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
What do you think, Buck?
I think $1 billion's on the right track. I think it's still a little too low in today's economy, though, knowing all the valuable resources.
$1 billion to just buy Greenland? Twitter was $4 billion.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know how much money the government wastes every year? Tens of billions. I feel like at least 8 billion, at least.
What's our GDP, like 4 trillion-ish?
Yeah, we got more than enough money to burn. They burn it on all sorts of ridiculous stuff.
Do you know, okay, I don't know if 4 trillion's the exact number, but it's close, right?
It's wild.
So for those of you guys that don't know what 4 trillion is, because a lot of people don't know what that is,
It's hard.
4 trillion is 4,000 billions.
Right.
Yeah, and what's 1 billion, just to bring that into some context?
1 billion is 1,000 millions.
Yeah.
Right.
So 4 trillion is 400,000 millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I've heard the minerals alone on Greenland are worth trillions of dollars.
Okay.
I think Denmark can hold out for $200 billion.
I think that is even still a reasonable offer for multiple reasons.
Very reasonable.
You got to think about it, man. If we're spending tens of billions of dollars here and there and willy-nilly just sending it overseas to acquire another piece of land for our military security, our national security, it only makes sense.
Yeah, Denmark, who do you want to control Greenland? You without your resources that can't do much, and who's going to save you during a war? Wouldn't you rather have America control Greenland where we can actually do something with it?
Right.
And then if we could do something with it, that helps you out.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I was one of those 60,000 residents of Greenland, I would be very excited at the proposition of becoming an American citizen. That's amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like would a lot of things change for them?
Yeah.
If America owned them, like
I think so.
beneficially?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
sure there would be it's weird because I still don't understand how Puerto Rico works.
Right.
I've heard it's like a state, although it's not called a
Who
state.
made
They
that
can't
decision?
vote.
What do you mean? They can't vote?
They can't vote in presidential elections.
No?
No.
Right.
So that's weird to me. I don't really know why. I'm gonna have to study that. I can't sit here and spew
Right.
nonsense that I know what it is. But it's very weird. It depends on what they do with Greenland. Since there won't be a lot of people there, I think it'll be a lot about military, a lot about drill, a lot about strategy. And I think like right now, if I just said wipe the board clean, where should Greenland go? I mean, either England or America should have Greenland, and that's better for everybody else in the world.
It just makes more sense. Like, I'm not a expert when it comes to the geographic locations of nations, but it would just make more sense to have Greenland be controlled, like you're saying, by the United States or the UK or just some country in the northern hemisphere that is relatively located to Greenland.
And it does make sense. And a man, a plan, a canal,
Oh,
Panama.
I've heard of this.
Yes.
You've heard of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard it's one of the most amazing man-made creations on the planet.
But listen to the sentence. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Ooh. Like Trump is
Do you know what's crazy about that sentence?
what?
Not really, no.
A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. That sentence is spelled backwards the same way as it's spelled forward.
Ah,
Oh, so Panama Canal is...
oh man.
No, that phrase. A man, a
Oh.
plan, a canal, Panama.
I
A
gotcha.
man, a plan, a canal, Panama. That's a I think it's a palindrome.
Yeah, isn't that when something can be like the name Hannah, right? Is a palindrome.
Right.
Right.
Isn't that crazy though? A
Yeah.
man, a plan, a canal, Panama.
Yeah, that is
Oh.
crazy because it's a lot of words.
I didn't even... I don't know. I guess I'd have to write it out
Yeah.
to see, to even make
that's
that
pretty
connection.
cool.
That's another thing America should control. We built it. Our
Right.
people died over it. Do we want Panama and those people down there that, no offense, that don't have the resources that we have to maintain one of the biggest places for transport in the world, or shouldn't we take it? I mean, we sold it for $1 to Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
Right.
It only makes sense. And crazy enough, I don't know how true it is, although Trump is claiming the Panama Canal is controlled by the Chinese. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of, I mean, do you think the Chinese don't have a vested interest in the Panama Canal?
Of course they would. Why wouldn't they? It's so close to foreign operations, you know?
Here's what it seems like to me. I'm going to wrap this up into a bow, what it seems like. So calling Canada the 51st state, saying we should take over Panama, saying how about we take Greenland? How about we call it the Gulf of America?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got You've got Hamas doing wild stuff. You've got Russia invading Ukraine. You've got China circling Taiwan. I think Trump's just out there like, oh, everybody wants to get what they want to get. Y'all, everyone just thinks everything could take what they want. All right, what if we decide we start taking what we want? How about we take control of the Panama Canal? How about we take Greenland? Would you guys, that'd be good for you? We're going to take Greenland. How about, you know what? Madagascar is looking pretty too. Ooh. You know, that'd be nice and strategic too. So I think it's pretty much a flex saying, bro, if everybody wants to get brolic, we can get brolic.
Yeah.
It's only fair, you know what I'm saying?
And I'm not trying to show my political colors because you'll never know who I voted for. But Trump's gonna do some stuff, though.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's choosing one side or the other to say I love America and we need to focus on Americans.
Yes.
Yeah.
The land of the free and the home of the brave. Let's go.